and welcome back.
Are we on there or not yet?
Yeah, we're on there. The I don't know. The video may be a little bit sketchy. I hope not. Our internet is having some difficulties.
It says David said streaming issues. David, can you hear us?
Uh,
Did you push the button? Can they hear us?
yeah, they can hear us. So, yeah, the internet may be a little bit sketchy tonight, and I'm sorry if it is.
Hey, you know what? If it is sketchy, just pretend like you're on some kind of a mushroom trip. Mushroom. I can't talk. Just pretend you took some. How do you say that? Cybacillin? Is that how you say it? How do you say the mushroom, the shroom thing? What? Cybacillin? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Cybacillin? Yeah, just pretend you took some of those. Not that
Oh my gosh.
I've actually, I don't think I could trip on shrooms if I ever wanted to because, well, I can't like mushrooms. No. Jessica, oh, I was so bummed that I missed you guys all last night because, yeah, I will get up there eventually. It's just, yeah, right now it's just not an option, which sucks, man.
Well,
I'm like, I have this like group now and I can't even enjoy them all in the same room. You know what I mean?
we'll get you up there.
We
So
will.
yeah, just right quick, I do want to say I'm sorry for the video difficulties. The internet is a little bit sketchy right now, but we are working on that and getting that better.
We're in the middle of like, we're going to change internet providers to something else. And so that's kind of why yes, we all want you there. Oh, thank you, Jessica. Yeah, we're going to change internet providers because we started having issues and
Yeah,
it's just been
no.
issue after another. So,
But the one that we're switching to has such a backed up installation schedule. It's going to be a while before we can get the the the
really?
new service going. Yeah,
Oh, that
it's like
sucks.
their installation schedule is backed up like 4 weeks. So,
Oh my
but
goodness.
we're already a week and a half into that. So,
Countdown's on. It's
you
like
know,
it's like when I order stuff from the Wish app. I just have to, you know, eventually it'll get here. Eventually the time will pass.
yeah, yeah. So, but thank you guys so much for logging on and watching with us.
Indeed.
It's been a kind of a crazy few weeks trying to get things set to go where we can at least halfway go live again. So
Yeah. Well, there's a
and
few other reasons why we haven't been having a show lately too.
yeah,
Well, it's not here nor there, but it's just I don't know. We had some things come up and really just needed to take a break from all of that stuff and kind of refocus and nothing like terrible, just life related things that sometimes shit happens and you deal with it.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
anywho, thank you for staying with us through that. We'll get back on a roll every Wednesday now.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
our finale ended up being Wednesdays at 6:30, people. So, yay, here we are. Here we are. I hope you guys keep checking in and tuning in and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah.
So,
Take a second and be sure to share this video wherever you want to.
whoa, check out the screen, honey.
Yeah, I know. It might get kind of difficult to watch, but like Stephanie said, if you just pretend you're on a trip of some sort.
Yeah, then you took some LSD or some dimethyltryptamine. I don't know how to say DMT. I guess you don't really take
You're
DMT.
way over my head. So
What is that? The ayahuasca? Is that what it's called? Ayahuasca would have the ayahuasca. I don't know. They would like have the DMT like sweats or whatever it was. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
not a clue.
Okay, well, I bet there's somebody out there who has a clue what I'm talking about. I bet Dave probably has heard of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dave, I hope your wonderful wife is doing well. That was a lot of W words. Wonderful wife is doing well.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good. Yeah, tell Shannon hello, and we miss seeing you guys, and yeah, miss all of you guys. when we don't get to see you. And now that it's kind of like the hibernation season and the restocking season and all that stuff for the fairs, we will have some downtime in the next couple 2-3 months, and I'm kind of excited about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Going 90 to nothing for almost a year straight, it's kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So tonight we want to talk about ghosts. Ghosts. Ooh.
Well, you had something that you wanted to kind of show off a little bit.
Oh,
first,
here.
didn't
I do, but hold on. I knew Dave would know what. That's how it's spelled. It's spelled ayahuasca, maybe? Ayahuasca.
Huh.
Anyways, there you go.
Interesting.
Do some homework. But yeah, they would have these big like vats of I don't even know if it was some kind of wood or I don't know what it was, but they would get a real kind of like smudging, right? Except it was Dave, help me out. I can't remember how to it's those pesky kids. But yeah, they would. Sorry, none of that is relevant right now to talking about ghosts. But anyways, so sorry. So the specific person that I was hoping to log on, which is all of you people, of course. However, one in particular person mailed me a birthday present, and oh my God, are you ready for this? I'm so happy. And I was just like, I just knew when I got information or confirmation that somebody sent me a birthday present. I knew exactly what it was going to be. I don't know how I knew. I just had a feeling. I should have brought the other stone up. Anyways, so here, you can lean forward easier than me.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave, you and Shannon are gonna be so happy for me right now. I just know it. I bet just by saying that he knows exactly what I got for my birthday. Anyways, yeah, people. So this lovely, amazing, wonderful thing is a Moldavite that somebody turned into a necklace. It's a chunk of Moldavite. I am so happy that I finally got this amazing person gave me a Moldavite ring at one of the fairs that we were recently at, which was incredibly just, I learned one of the patrons that comes to the Kansas City Metaphysical Fair every time they have the fair. He told me, and I did not know this, he told me that, and if I butcher this and somebody correct me, but he was telling me that with Moldavite, you actually, like, when it's done with you, it will get away from you. Did you know that? I did not know that about Moldavite. I don't even know if that's true. However, yeah, one of the patrons was telling me that you actually did a reading for him. He was the tall guy with the skirt on and the big gauges and almost looked like he was Indian, like from India.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, he was telling me about Moldavite, that yeah, it will literally when it's done with you, it will get away from you. And then if you need Moldavite in your life and you don't even know it, it will somehow come into your life.
Huh.
And it's so ironic that I'm super drawn to Moldavite in this period of time. Because prior to, I'd never even heard of Moldavite. And Dave and Shannon, in their possession, they own these incredible pieces of Moldavite. So
yeah,
Dave has a big old chunk around his neck. I don't know. But anyways, he said, nice piece of Moldavite. Yes.
It's beautiful. It really is. So I got to get it. Now I got to get him a necklace made for
Yay!
it. So.
I know. He will too. But I'm all torn because in my life, everything has happened in threes. Everything. And so it's fitting that I have 3 necklaces that are just, super fitting. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of necklaces, this is such a cool story. So when Jeremiah and I were on our honeymoon, we went to Durango, Colorado, and they had this really awesome shop called Earthbound Trading Company. I'd never heard of it, but we went in there and it was like heaven. Like anybody who's watching this show would feel the same as me about Earthbound Trading Company. They have the coolest, amazing, just metaphysical and just stuff right up our alley, people. I'm telling you, Earthbound Trading Company. Maybe we should post a link to that shop. They have amazing stuff. Anyway, sorry, I'll stop talking about that and tell you what happened. So when we were in Durango on our honeymoon, went in, found this necklace. And when I found this necklace in Durango, it was just, I mean, it spoke to me. I was like, man, I got to have that necklace. And at that point, I had one other necklace which I wear. It's like a tree of life, but the tree is the mother, and then like the roots are like there's children. So since Jeremiah and I have 7 children, there's 7 children on the necklace. So I always wore that. And then when we were in Durango, I found this other one. It's a clear quartz crystal with like some clay and beads on it. It's really cool. It spoke to me. So I got it. Then flash forward, we were at one of the fairs, and this energy vampire was god awful experience that I went through, metaphysically speaking. He pretty much yanked all of the energy that I had in these 2 necklaces, and he was a real asshole. If anybody wants to put on him, I have his name for you. Just saying. Anyways, so he took all this energy, and after that, I could not wear that clear quartz necklace again. I still have it, but he really fucked with me with what he did. And I couldn't shake that feeling. And so I still have it, but I put it up. Well, this past weekend for my birthday, Jeremiah took me to Lawrence, and they also have an Earthbound trading company there. So I went in, and I just had the feeling. I was like, wouldn't that be something if they still had that necklace? Like if they had the necklace, it's seasonal, so I didn't really expect them to, but I was just wandering around, and I just had this feeling go back in the back area of the store. And I was like, okay, I'll just trust it, trust your gut. And sure as shit, I went back, and on the clearance rack, they had the clear quartz necklaces. So I bought 2. That way, if there's another asshole energy vampire that steals all my energy. But I've learned I've learned some tactics to help avoid that happening again.
Yeah.
God, that people like that should just be, I don't know, something. Never, especially without somebody's permission, come up and just with their energy and all of that stuff. You should never. That's not cool. That's so not cool. That is so not cool. Thank God most people in this realm are not like that,
Right.
What? But what I will say is now life is good because I got my clear quartz necklace on, and now I'm gonna have my moldavite. Sorry, that whole story was to say that now I have 3 necklaces. That whole long spiel was to say that inevitably I was supposed to end up wearing 3 necklaces. How many do you have? Because there for a while you had like 5.
Yeah, I'm down to 3.
It was 2 and now it's 3.
Yeah.
You got that pretty Jormungand on your neck now. That's cool. I think it's really cool you make the necklaces rather than buying them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really awesome. Esty, he's on here now. I shared, I think it was a couple days ago, he had posted some things he made for sale. That's chainmail, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
We went to
bow ties.
Yeah. We went to dinner with him Saturday night, and he pulled out a bow tie not a bow tie, a necktie made out of chainmail. That was so cool. And I'm thinking, man, that's so. Esty, you are a talented person, my friend.
I don't think I could have the patience to do chainmail.
I could totally see you wearing that, though. I could totally see you wearing a necktie that's made of chainmail. There's a few people I could see that wearing one of those, But anyway, so yeah, let's dive right into our discussion tonight. So, we to be blunt, I don't know that we're gonna have another guest on until we get this internet situation
we've
figured
got to
out.
get the internet.
It's not fair to our guest.
Yeah. So we want to be able to provide them with a good experience.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we've got lots of cool stuff we can talk about. We can always find cool shit to talk about. So
you're right, we can.
Feel free at any time to jump in on the chat and share your experiences and stories with ghosts and spirits, because that's what this episode is all about. So
okay, so I have to start this off, and I have to ask you something. What is your definition of a ghost?
a ghost?
Yes. Okay, two-part question. Your definition of a ghost, and is a spirit and a ghost the same thing?
Okay, so a ghost is a disembodied human spirit. That's my definition.
Disembodied. Okay, for those of us who just elaborate, give me an example of that.
Okay, you die, and your spirit leaves your body. Okay, that's then a ghost until it moves on and either becomes something else or incarnates into another human body, or whatever the case may be. But a ghost is okay. So maybe I need to get a little bit more technical with that. A ghost I would consider an earthbound, disembodied human spirit.
Okay.
One that is stuck here either by choice or due to unresolved issues or whatever the case may be. And they're moving on wherever moving on would take them.
Okay.
And sometimes they're aware of that, sometimes they're not.
It's probably more likely that children would not be aware.
Actually, I get more. I have had, if you average it out in my experience with the interactions that I've had, the child spirits have tended to be more aware and cognizant than the adult spirits.
Sorry, I totally jumped ahead of myself. I'm sorry, like 50 questions in my mind right now. Not really 50, probably like 7, but
difference between a ghost and a spirit.
Yes, please answer that.
A spirit is a ghost is a type of spirit.
Okay.
All ghosts are spirits. Not all spirits are ghosts.
All ghosts are spirits, not all spirits. Oh. So
that's very simple, very basic and simplified.
All
but
ghosts are spirits, but so spirit is kind of an umbrella term.
Yeah.
And a ghost is a type of spirit.
Yes.
What other types of spirits are there that you've actually personally encountered?
That I've personally encountered?
Yeah.
Well, there are. You have. Oh my gosh. there's a lot. There's of course the ever-present go-tos of angels and demons, and then you have elementals, and you have oh God, well, what else? What am I missing, God? There's a bunch of them out there.
Hold on. Okay, well, while you're rattling around in your brain here, I have a question. Oh, is it Oh, sorry. I'm messing everything up right now. I'm loving the effect of our screen. Sorry, guys. I'm loving the effect that's happening on our screen right now. Ghosts and hauntings is what got me into this way of life. Dawn, I hear you. And Dawn, one of our viewers, said that ghosts and hauntings is what got... Let's see. Yeah, it says ghosts and hauntings is what got me into this way of life. Yes, that's our amazing viewer, Dawn. Incredible person. So with the
Stephanie Green, give me just a second. I'll get to your question.
Before I forget, I gotta ask you this. So, oh god damn it! It flew away. It flew. Angels and demons. All right. Most people associate angels and demons with heaven and hell. Do you associate angels and demons with heaven and hell?
Almost.
Ooh, that's quite the question, isn't it?
Almost. Okay, so yes, it is. That's a very good question.
I know, right?
Dryad. There's another one, David. Thank you. Almost. Oh, and all the fae. Those would be spirit beings. There's it's limitless basically. But almost every spirituality has some version of angels and demons.
The good and the evil?
Not every spirituality has a version of heaven and hell. So that's going to be completely based on your perception as far as what your spirituality is, and that's going to have that ultimate basically say so in what you believe and think. I think
Okay. Okay.
so.
Mhm.
Um,
Answer Stephanie's question before we lose track of it.
residual. How did she word it? Okay. Um, residual apparition. That's a really good question, Stephanie. And my honest answer is I honestly don't know. The prevailing theory tends to be that it's more of just a residual um, energy that is kind of like a video record, um, that's recorded, or, kind of imprinted per se on the surroundings of where it's witnessed at, and it tends to be like a videotape that gets played back over and over again. In that case, it wouldn't have any kind of sense to it. It's um, just a pure residual energy that, like I said, was imprinted on the environment there.
So what you're talking about right now would be like, okay, like if we're around somebody's bed and they just died, they just crossed over, they just passed.
Hmm.
You're talking about anybody who goes into that room might pick up on, regardless of whatever her or him, their spirit did after it left their body. Are you talking about the left behind energy from where they crossed over? What are you talking about when you talk about residual?
What I'm talking about is it's often going to be things that happen over and over again at predictable times and under predictable
Oh,
circumstances. So,
okay.
for instance, I've investigated. I couldn't tell you how many places I've investigated with claims of, so like every morning at 6:45 in the morning, I hear footsteps coming down those stairs, but there's no one else here, and there's no way there are footsteps going down those stairs.
Okay, so
But the key to it is it happens every morning and it's predictable, and it can be reliably and predictably recorded and proof produced of it.
okay.
And then it also, I mean, it can be really debunked by conventional means. Okay.
Okay.
I've investigated, I don't know how many
Excuse me.
uh,
Places?
places with claims like that.
Dude, I'm loving the visual aesthetic that's happening with the
Right?
disturbances in
It's
the
almost
feed.
tie dye.
I know, right?
Um, so and then Stephanie said, so like in areas that have a lot of quartz in the ground, tend to have residual imprints, like a replay loop. And yes, that's kind of been my experience, Stephanie, in that I tell you where I have seen probably the most, both in number and in reliability of residual type energies, is in buildings that are, um, at least at the very least, built on limestone foundations.
Really?
Hmm. And um, there, and then there's other buildings that I've investigated that have the vast majority of at least the outer shell of the building is made out of limestone, and there's almost invariably residual activity of some kind in those buildings.
Wow. So
Um,
okay, so do you think it's here's just throwing this out there. You think it's possible that what you're talking about, it's because time's linear and it could be past, present, future all happening simultaneously. So could it be maybe that these spirits are in another dimension and they're really reliving it every single day?
and so that's another possible theory. There's that it's almost like a loop of some sort, or a thin place in between the veil between one dimension and the next, where you get bleed over from the other dimension into this one. Those the biggest prevailing theory is the imprinted energy, but there's countless other theories that kind of go along with it.
So here's a question, okay? So you know how people who pray to God, okay, or pray to, people who pray basically. You could have a million people praying at the same time, and they honestly think that God, Jesus, hears every single prayer, right? Like like the same time it's happening, at the same time he's hearing everything. And do you think that spirits? Sorry, my brain works really weird sometimes, guys. I'm trying. I have a connection I'm making here. So, do you think that a spirit can be in more than one place at once? I don't know how that related to everybody praying at the same time. Well, yes, I do. It makes sense in my mind. Sorry.
So,
does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Yes, I see what you're
like
asking.
Mima's with us and looking out for Sophie at the same time. Is that possible?
In my experience, now we're kind of getting away from, like, we're getting into a belief system here, for me anyway.
Well, that's fine. Let's talk about your beliefs.
I personally don't believe that the vast majority of spirits can be in more than one place at one time. That is a particular property called omnipresence. And as far as I know, there's only one entity that claims to have that ability.
Which is?
The Christian God.
Ah, okay.
And I mean, it's even a lot of the pagan deities aren't often associated with that specific ability, for lack of a better term, or property.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah, that answers my question with that.
Now there may be, and Stephanie Green made another comment here that is a really good point that I'd like to expand on a little bit. There may be the perception to us that they, can be in more than one place at the same time, because in the dimension that they're existing in, the properties may interact completely differently.
We can't even wrap our minds around that.
Yeah,
huh? Man, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
But as far as in our physical plane, it's difficult to say.
Well, you bring up a really good point about the fact that in our dimension, that yes, it might appear that way, but in reality, if time is totally different concept in a different playing field, it might be true in both circumstances. Mm-hmm. They might be everywhere and only in one place at the same time. Who knows?
Right.
I don't know. We just don't know. Right? Yeah, that's. I you know what else I think is, I also want to so I have found with gaining a lot of clarity on my own self, I'm starting to see a lot more things. I'm starting to more recently see things out of the corner of my eye, which I have off and on or whatever, but it seems like it's starting to happen more frequently. Mm-hmm. Like yesterday, was it yesterday or Monday God, it's already Wednesday. Was it yesterday or Monday I came home and I told you, oh my God, it was Monday. It was Monday. I was in a facility and I was taking care of this patient and his wife was in there, and I swear to you, there was a blonde lady, maybe in her 30s, standing right behind his wife. I did a double take, and in my mind's eye, I could draw her. If I could draw, I could draw a picture of exactly what she looked like. But it's just weird when that happens, and it's like I said, that's happened to me off and on over the past few years. But it just seems like since I got a lot of weight off my shoulders, so to speak, in the past few weeks, I've had so much more clarity with things. Mm-hmm. And I think you nailed it. All that energy that I was expending with the weight that I got off of my shoulders, it kind of opens it up now for other things to happen.
Right.
And man, they're happening.
Yeah.
Guys, I told Jeremiah, I was like, man, I've cried more in the past like 3 weeks than I did like the whole time I was pregnant with Sophie. Seriously. I wish I was kidding about that, but anyways.
So, you're talking about the apparition that you saw.
Well, yeah, just that. I mean, I could just like if I had a pen or something, like if I was able to draw, like I could draw what she looked like, and it's so weird because it's like you do a double take, and it's like I don't know if I'm actually like seeing it or if I'm picking up on the fact that that person is in the room, not in a physical form, but that person is in the room, and they're gonna measure that though, or like there's no way to, be able to tell, if it's accurate or not, other than asking, like, hey, do you have a family member that's passed on that looks like this?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just find it very, very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, what's been your most unnerving experience to date?
Well, okay, so there's more than one way to look at the term unnerving, because you're talking about something that I can't explain, or are you talking about actual experience that is like, I'm like, oh my God. Because I was so unnerved when I had I died, and I actually felt like I experienced
unnerving experience with a spirit.
Oh, I do remember. I locked myself in the fucking bathroom. You remember that? So unnerved. So when all this started when I say all of this, when I started to pick up on all these things outside the five senses that started happening to me, and I started realizing that whatever. Well, I oftentimes can get a sense of like a spirit that's like, if I walk in a house or something like that, like I'll get a feeling like, oh, I feel like there's something going on in this room. Like, even though there's not anybody in there, like, I don't know what you call that, but I kind of can, walk in a blank slate place, not knowing anything about it, and kind of pick up on a positive or negative energy. I might not see, but I just feel it, right?
Right.
And one of the most unnerving things I experienced was I was home alone. It was before I got pregnant with Sophie, actually. I was home alone, and I felt like there was something outside, like kind of, I don't know, away from the back door or whatever. But then I felt like it was literally like at the back door. And I mean, I was so freaked out. I didn't see it, but I could feel it. But I didn't feel like it was like human. Like, and I didn't feel like it was a positive thing either.
Right.
Do you remember that? I called him. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, there's something at the door. And oh my God, I don't know what to do. And it's not really, because I did. Like, they talk about spiritual awakening. They talk about when you start to open up to these things. And it's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant experience. That's a bunch of crap if somebody tells you, oh, I just woke up and knew things. Had all these gifts and it's been great and merry, and no, fuck that. Pardon my language. No, having an awakening and start to experience things is not pleasant.
No,
it's very, very unpleasant, and trying to, because it's a whole new way of thinking, whole new experiences, whole new into these things that you didn't even know were a thing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's dumped in your lap.
Right.
You're not, and there's people that like at different ages started to experience things, and hindsight's 2020, and looking back, a lot of me growing up and everything, I did have experiences that I can't explain, but it's only been in the past few years that I really started to kind of open myself up to accepting those experiences. But Dave said it's a pretty messy experience. Esty said it gets easier to walk with. Stephanie agreed for sure. Oh, Don said it was that experience, she's, I think, started having those experiences at the age of 9 or 10 is what I think is her comment. But yeah, when you're a little kid and you haven't fully developed those skills of thinking outside the box and understanding and rationalizing things, or like going through the reasoning, yeah, that stuff is scary,
Yeah.
Man, but when I was little, I always like loved the idea of fairies, and I always like wanted to see a fairy so bad. And like the story with that is my aunt, along with the Moldavite, she sent me a hagstone, and I'm like so happy about that because we actually found a hagstone in Lawrence over the weekend.
Yeah.
That we got and brought home, and then my aunt mailed me another hagstone. It's like perfect size for a necklace. I can't go there. I can't do 4 necklaces. I'll start to feel like trapped in my own skin if I have more than the 3 necklaces on. But yeah, it that one, and then of course Frank, like my little buddy.
Yeah.
I mean that hands down probably has freaked me out more than anything else. Over the course of my life. Seeing that when I was little, and then constantly off and
on. I think probably everyone watching right now is familiar with the story of Frank, but for other people that may watch in the future, who is Frank?
Who is Frank? Frank finally came out with his name, by the way. Okay, so like if we back up here, when I was little, I had this first time I ever remember this happening. I was little enough that I like was that particular night I slept in bed with my mom, and I was in my bed upstairs, and it was the middle of the night, and I remember I was in between my mom and the wall, and I remember I woke up. I have no concept of what time this was in the middle of the night, but I know it was in the middle of the night, and my mom was asleep. I woke up, I looked towards because my bed was opposite the door. Okay, so it was like the bed, and then the opposite wall, the doorway. Well, up in the corner of my room was this dark figure crouched.
You keep telling the story.
Crouched
I'm gonna go get the picture
up. So like if someone's crouched in a corner, okay, on the floor, but it was like the opposite of that. So it was like it was crouched up in the corner of the ceiling, just like fucking staring at me, and it scared me so. I said I was really little, and but I very much remember, and I remember it scared me really bad, and I remember closing my eyes and like burying my face, in my mom's back or whatever, and then a little bit of time passed at that age. I can't tell you how much time I gave it, probably not much. And then I opened my eyes again, and it was still there staring at me, and so I mean, like, it really freaked me out, guys. Like yeah, and so over the course of time, I have continually seen this thing at different places I've lived and whatnot, and I just kind of came to accept it, that it's like a thing. And one of our viewers, Stephanie, she actually we had like a video actually when David Mitchell was on. We had a video when we were interviewing Dave, and he was attuning everybody to the Reiki crystal, and this thing went in front of this camera screen, and then one of the viewers, Stephanie, like we didn't even know her at that point or anything. She like had to draw this image. She said she had to draw if we could have somehow froze the screen when this thing went in front of the camera, this is what you would have seen. And so and so that, and when I saw this, because here this viewer that we didn't know is like, I've got to draw this thing for these people, but I'm sure she was probably like, oh my god, they're gonna think I'm nuts for sending this picture, and they don't even know me. But it's so funny, and it was meant to be because she drew that, and it's a little grotesque, a little unnerving to see something like that. But bear in mind that I grew up like with this thing, and it's still like, it's been only recently that it stopped freaking me out so bad, to be honest. But anyway, so finally she mailed us a drawing that she drew, and she mailed it to us, and along with a little video that she explained what she picked up on, and then as soon as an envelope that she mailed us with the picture, like immediately I hear the name Frank, like immediately, and I assumed that was his name. I don't feel like he was a person, you know. I feel like he was like a human, so to speak. Whatever he is, you know, I don't know. I'm grateful for him, you know, over the course of talking to people and whatnot, I've kind of figured out what his purpose is and why he's followed me like he has and stuff. And so, I kind of find comfort in that real awkward looking thing, named Frank. So, anyways, so yeah, that's the story of Frank. And, you know, people, it's so funny because if somebody was watching this that had no idea the stuff that we, you know, that we believe and we're into and stuff, would probably think that nuts for like, oh yeah, this is I have like a shrine for this drawing named, this thing named Frank. But yeah, he's 70 said Frank never made her uncomfortable. He's just kind of freaky looking.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Yes, he is. And especially to a little kid, like, you know, like I said, I was, gosh, 5, 6, something like that.
Yeah.
Little. It was kind of towards, I do remember this though, that specific that was one of the last times that I actually still was like, oh, I have to sleep with my mom in the bed. You know, I've got to go to sleep. My mom, you know, sleep with your parents and, you know, when you're little. And I remember that was one of the last times that happened. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that has any significance or not, but yeah, it was pretty, I think. And then the other one that really like caught me off guard was when I had Sophie in the hospital, and here I'm like totally like going on 2 days with no sleep at all. And I look over at Jeremiah and he's passed out in the recliner in the hospital room. He had Sophie asleep on his chest, passed out. And I look, and just to the left of him, I see clear as day this little old lady standing right behind him. And I described her to a fucking T. It's freaked me out really bad, because then I saw a big crab on the wall too, mm-hmm. which we can get into that in a minute. But the little lady I described to a T, and then, you know, then like not quite 2 months later, we went down to his hometown, and his mom pulled out all these photo albums, and we're sifting through, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, that's the woman I saw. Like, who is this? Yeah, that was his mama. That's yeah, I'd actually never of her until that point. Mm-hmm. I bet, yeah, that was one of those moments. It was like, oh, but then the crab on the wall. What was crazy?
That freaked you out. I remember just the look in your eye when you were telling me about
the lady,
the crab.
Yeah, the crab freaked me out so bad. So I'm sitting there in the hot, and then I saw a little boy. Do you remember that? There was a little boy in the room too. Oh, that's kind of weird.
Ooh.
That's kind of weird.
Well, why that's weird in a minute, but that's...
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
There was a little boy, like, in a hospital.
Okay.
Wow. Sorry, we just had a real...
And then we'll expand on that.
So this crab, I literally am thinking, like, I'm totally... Right, you know, Jeremiah kept saying, you really need to try to go to sleep. I could not go to sleep. I don't know why I could sleep, but I don't know. You're a nurse. Why couldn't I go to sleep?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you were so hopped up on adrenaline. You were anxiety ridden. You were,
yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. Let's hit share, maybe. No. So then, you know, after I'm telling Jeremiah about the lady that I'm seeing or whatever, shortly after that, I'm like waking him up again. I'm like, oh my God, there's a giant fucking crab on the wall in the hospital room. Like a giant crab, the type of crab you would, snow crab, or I don't know, a big crab.
Yeah.
And because I just couldn't, every time I look over at the same spot, I'd see
up there in like almost a figure eight or in circles or something.
Yes, and then it was wild. Well, you tell them what happened. It was kind of like ironic, actually.
So
that I was seeing that moment,
and that one kind of baffled us for a little while, and then a few days later, no, it was the next day, I was texting with my oldest daughter. Sending her some pictures of Sophie and whatnot, and she sent me a text back with this whole big string of sad faces saying, I really wish I could have been there.
Hmm.
It just really affected her that she wasn't able to be there with her, sister, her baby sister's birth. And um, she's a Cancer.
Yeah. Yep. She's a Cancer. And
That's how,
so,
we kind of surmised that the vision of the crab on the wall was kind of a psychic connection. Stephanie picking at that longing of Sophie's sister to be there
yeah.
with us.
Yeah, that was kind of wild that
So
happened. But yeah, okay. So back to this like moment when we're like, wait a minute. So apparently, okay. So and then the other thing I saw was I saw this little boy. He was maybe, and I even think I said like 9 or 10. I think I even said that, Jeremiah.
mhm.
When so then right was this little kid. It was a boy, had dark hair. I specifically remember.
Mhm.
I can. And he was in a hospital gown, and so the reason it was a freak out moment is because I got a reading from a reader who goes to a lot of. She's incredible. Anyways, her first name is Jamie.
Mhm.
Those of you, I don't know if she'd feel comfortable with us plugging her, so I'm not gonna say her last name, but those of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or if you want to know, you can message us and we'll tell you. But she does all kinds of readings. She does medium. She does Akashic record. She does intuitive. She does it all. Like all of you psychics out there, you do it all. She's incredible, and because I sat I always wanted to get a reading from this woman.
Mhm.
Ever since like a year ago when the first time I saw her, and I mean she is nonstop busy. I mean back to back to back to back on readings that she's just amazing. But what she did, she says, okay, and she whatever, and she says, I want you to say your name, and I'm like, okay. And so I said my name, and she said that just kind of tells whoever's wanting to come through, hey, Stephanie's here. Whoever wants to come through, come on through.
Mhm.
Well, when she did it, she said that people who come on my left side are going to be male, and people who come on my right side are going to be female. And she said that when she did it and the door opened, so to speak, and then she said typically when a lot of people will come through. Well, with me, only like 3 people came through. There was an older gentleman holding this kid's hand, and she said it was a little boy, and the little boy was like 9 or 10, and she's like, did you lose a child? Or and I'm like I have no idea who this little kid is. I kind of deduced who the female that came through and the male that came through, but the little boy, but sorry. And then that was the initial part of the reading. Then the end of the reading, another lady came through, which we won't talk about that right now, but it was pretty spot on, accurate description of a woman, how she passed, how long ago she passed, what she looked like, how old she was, about her name and her nickname. Because she not only said her name, she said her, like, I'm hearing this name and this name, like it's the same person though. And both names were accurate, and she had a message and she delivered the message or whatever, and it was pretty amazing actually.
Yeah.
But sorry, that's beside the point of the little boy. So yeah, this little boy, anyways, Jamie's like, yeah, like there's this little boy, and he's like, he has, but I have no idea who this little boy is.
Right.
But that's weird that the day that I had Sophie, or like the next day, or I don't even remember the time there, but that's really weird.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some more looking into that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Huh.
That is really, really interesting, actually. Huh. That was weird. We both looked at each other like, wait a minute. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. Huh. Weird. I don't know.
That's just one of those head scratcher moments. Okay. Where do you go from? What? Wow.
I don't know. But I don't have any like question about I don't have any question about, the accuracy of her reading just
Yeah.
because of when she pulled out that one lady.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You know, incredible. Anybody who's needing, to talk to somebody on the other side or whatever, this woman is, like I said, reach out, message us. We'll let you know what her name is, and how to maybe contact her. Because I know she has like a Facebook page or whatever.
Yeah.
So, the other thing that was interesting was I had in Lawrence on Saturday. Sorry, we got way sidetracked off of ghosts. We did. So, I had a, what does Dave call those? An energy session? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
when we were in Lawrence at the Village Witch, there's a gentleman there who does energy work, and he does energy sessions, and it's basically you lay down and he puts the certain stones that go with certain chakras, and then you lay down, and then he gives you the blindfold. You put the blindfold on, and then he walks you through each of the chakras in this guided meditation, and it was really odd because at the end of there were certain parts of that meditation. I don't know if I ever shared this with you. Maybe I did. There were certain parts of that meditation that it was almost like I was zoned out and didn't even hear his voice.
Mm-hmm.
All I could do was like I was seeing, like I was seeing things, and very one specific one was this when he was talking about actually when it got down to my heart chakra, he was talking about this. Or maybe it was my solar I can't remember which chakra it was, and I should have wrote that shit down, but didn't. But anyways, one of the chakras was I kind of like stopped hearing David's voice, and it was almost like all I could do was see this old man. I mean, I'm talking old man, like really old man. It was almost like he was like peeking over at me. It was very bizarre. It was very, very bizarre. Yeah, because Dave told me, like after I get done, go to the other little lady that does readings in there and tell her about what she saw and stuff like that, and what that means for you. And so I did, and she went into detail about it. But it would almost remind me of, remember the show Tool Time with Tim Allen?
Yeah.
Remember the neighbor that you never saw his mouth? Yes.
Wilson.
You never saw his mouth, but the other really amazing point with that was, Wilson never went to Tim. Tim always sought him out for advice and stuff like that. And so I just thought it was really fascinating. That was one of the things that really, and it was weird. In chakras, I couldn't focus on what the guided meditation was. It was literally like I was just seeing, and it was really cool because he would talk about each chakra. He would talk about the color associated with that chakra, and when he would go from one to the next, okay, take a deep breath in and then blow it out slowly, and then do it again, okay, and then he would say, now this chakra, this color is gonna, it's gonna transform into this color, and as he would be saying it, I literally, in my mind's eye, with my eyes closed, would be seeing, as in your mind's eye, that color being, shifted to the next color.
Yeah.
It was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
It was a really cool experience. But yeah, he just but then what was interesting is he warned me before I took that blindfold off. He warned me. He said, "Now I want to tell you, when you sit up on the bench," he said, a lot of people have a tendency to, have to like grab onto something before, so just don't get up really fast. So when I took the blindfold off, immediately, I didn't even stand up yet, and I started getting a headache. I mean, I started getting a headache that it was almost like a headache I've never experienced before. I get these wonky like ocular migraines, but there's never pain associated with them. But this headache, it felt like this giant just ball, like just stuck behind my eyeballs. And, we kind of figured out that was probably these chakras that have been been lots of blockage like that. And, you can get out the top of your head, or you can get out the chakra with things. And so what do you think that was just like blocked, like built up, and then I don't know.
Well, you had energy flowing in ways that it hadn't flowed in a long, long, long time.
I know.
And probably lots of it, that was back and whatnot. So, that's exactly what that was as far as I'm concerned, because it went away on its own with no medication, no nothing.
Yeah.
It just, it got really bad for a little bit, and then it started easing off, and then it went away on its own.
Right.
So
That's that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. You know, and I was looking at with things that associate words that associate with each chakra. Okay. And what made me really sad was that the idea that in my entire life, like I've really never been grounded. And I mean, with a lot of the shit that's gone wrong, how could I have been grounded?
right.
You know, I mean, you can't tell me that you have that for years and years and you have total energy flow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
doesn't make any sense. And so, so the one that made me really sad was that, you know, your root chakra, the word they associate with your root chakra is safety. Right? And so when you think about that, to really question if you've ever fully been grounded and to really question about, have I ever actually felt safe?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 100% safe. And my question about chakras, I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but when they get like blocked up and stuff like that, is it specific situations block up specific chakras, or is it kind of like it compounded?
You know,
It starts here
honestly,
and then goes up.
we need to.
I don't know enough about chakras.
Yeah, we need to have a Reiki master and energy worker on again sometime to talk about that type of thing, because I'm not familiar enough with the concepts. I mean, I work with energy a lot, but not in that manner.
Well, I can
you know,
tell you, I
so-
can tell you like the color associated with and what the basic name of the chakras are and where they're located.
Mhm.
But I have basic knowledge of the
Right.
chakras. Yeah, I don't even know how you would explain chakra. Like, if somebody who doesn't know what your chakras are, they're basically like what ports for on your body that's like for energy, or like how would you to somebody? I don't know.
Maybe one of our viewers can help us out, because, like I said,
Look
I
at that!
am
Look at
not-
the color on that,
Hey,
man.
that almost looks like
Looks
aura
like-
photography.
You know what? Maybe that's what's going on, man. I'm gonna be concerned if I see like a separate entity on here. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like, see some.
Don't be surprised. I mean, it's happened before. I mean, really.
That's true. That's true. Right? Oh my goodness. That's so wild. That's so wild. Oh, and another interesting ghost thing that happened, or whatever, if you want to call it, is I can't tell you how many times I have been like down in the kitchen or whatever, and I would have $10 bill that you were standing right behind me,
Hmm.
and you weren't. Nowhere to be found. That's happened.
Yeah, you've told me about that many times.
Remember the
So-
one time? I remember the time I was in the restroom and I was standing up. I was like at the sink or whatever, and I felt like something on my like lower back. Like I felt somebody like touching my lower back.
Hmm.
Remember that? And like there was nobody in the bathroom with me.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that. That freaked me out pretty good too. Yeah, shit freaks me out like that. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's such an, you know, known.
Yeah. Well, and if you're not used to those interactions, and I mean, and
Well, and I don't
Either
do well
e-
with unknowns.
yeah, you don't do well with unknowns. You do well with people in your personal space, and especially if you're not expecting them to be there. So, hey,
Hey,
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
So yeah, it's there's a lot to that, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
and especially if you're not used to that type of unknown, unseen interaction, that's that's quite a shocker.
Right.
So
It is. It is. It is. Oh my God, it so is. Oh goodness. Okay, I've been yakking and yakking and yakking. Your turn.
So I've been trying to think, because I'm really not just saying this to sound like a tough guy, but I don't have a lot of experiences that have actually scared me, as far as spirit encounter experiences.
What about when you said you guys were at that church and you were up in the balcony and
That was a startle.
okay.
That was like someone, that was what we call a jump scare, or what the kids would call a jump scare. So I'll
Okay.
tell that story. It was at the old Hillside Baptist Church in Wichita.
How long ago?
Oh, good grief, that's been
Been a minute. It's been a minute.
that was probably 2008, maybe 2009, somewhere in there.
So like 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, 10,
Wow.
11 years ago. So
Wow.
um, it was when a Wichita business couple had bought this old building, and they were renovating it into a theater, and they had us come in to.
They had you come into what? Don
No,
agreed
okay.
with you on that.
So they well they were going through the it was kind of the old classic thing. They couldn't keep workers around because of stuff that was happening and scaring people off and whatnot. And so they had us come in to check the place out, and it was really fascinating place, and the history was really fascinating and kind of dark, and there was a lot of mystery and speculation and the possibility for scandal and this,
Oh
that, and the other.
my.
I mean, it was the history of it was really, really interesting.
Wow.
But we were able to isolate probably three individual entities that we were able to interact with fairly regularly. And then there were who knows how many others that kind of would pop in whenever they wanted to,
Okay. Yeah.
but one of the um, regular ones, I believe it was a female spirit. I believe her name was Belle, if I remember correctly. But she was the organ keeper. She took care of the pipe organ.
Oh wow.
Um, she there was an accident, and she actually died in that church way back when. Um, and there were lots of stories about a young woman being seen walking up the stairs into the or the pipe room for the organ,
Hmm.
and in that general area of the church, which actually happened to be right behind the choir loft. Okay, so we're sitting there, and I have to kind of get a visual out here for you. And if in the main auditorium of this church, the way it was before they renovated it, you had the big stage, where the pulpit was, where the preacher would speak from, and then up about 30 foot above that, there was the choir loft, where of course the choir would sit directly above the pulpit. And the choir loft always fascinated me because it was usually about between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. If you sat up in the choir loft and looked back at the balcony seating in the second level, where they had all the stained glass windows,
Yeah.
you could see like shadows moving in front of the stained glass windows and just all kinds of crazy stuff. It was so much fun to just sit there and watch all of this, unexplained balls of light, and just it was a regular occurrence there. Okay, so it was our actually our first investigation there, and I had just discovered this. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and everyone was really tired. But I wandered onto the choir loft, and I see all of this going on, and I'm like, whoa! I'm just gonna sit down here and watch this for a little while. I was getting ready to tell everyone to tear down, but no, I'm gonna sit down here and watch this for a little while. And so I'm sitting there, and at the entryway to the choir loft, there were a bunch of tarps on the ground, and so that'll be important here in a second. So I'm sitting here watching all of this, and again, very tired. And I actually get relaxed to the point that I'm, you know, about ready to doze off.
Mhm.
But I keep getting woke up by it sounded like something rustling in the tarps behind me, and I'm pretty sure that was just like a mouse or something rustling around back there, you know. But that kept waking me up and keeping me alert. Um, so I'm sitting there, and the more I think about it, um, I heard a specific set of rustling that was more like footsteps.
Ooh.
But by this time, I'm not paying attention to that anymore because I'm writing it off as mice rustling around in those tarps.
Mhm.
Okay, but it was rhythmic like footsteps, and there was about 3 or 4 footsteps, and then
Oh God.
I'm sitting there and just like right here in my ear, and I don't specifically remember it at the time. Well, it's about right here. I hear hello in a female voice. It's
Creepy.
like right in my right ear, right
Oh
here.
my God.
And thinking back on it, I swear I could almost feel the breath. You know, I don't remember specifically thinking that at the time that it happened.
Right.
What I do know is that I was relaxed enough that it actually startled me. It's the only time in my life that I've been startled like that on a paranormal investigation. It actually startled me, and I jumped over the row of seats that was in front of me.
Ah.
And then I looked down and about had another heart attack because I realized if I'd have jumped about a foot further, I would
Oh
have
my
landed on the
God.
pulpit down 30 feet below me.
Oh my
So,
God.
that on EVP,
Wow.
the hello.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
that
gosh.
was crazy. That was probably, like I said, that was the um, really about the only time I've ever actually been startled like that on an investigation.
Man.
So,
Hey, I saw you startled the other night.
when? Refresh my memory.
So, I like standing. I don't remember. I have no concept if this was.
Oh, with the spider?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have no concept if this was like. Was this right before bed or was this in the middle of the night?
It was right before bed.
Okay, so I like come around the corner and I see this like dark thing in between our bed and the wall, and I'm like, Jeremiah, what is that? And he like peeked over and he was like, because it was a toy like fuzzy spider,
Yeah,
a big toy
yeah,
fuzzy
kind
spider,
of caught me off
and
guard, but
yeah, that was and he.
you haven't seen me startled very many times.
No. Actually, that's like the only time you startled me
Yeah.
quite often. Actually,
I
you're
have
good at
fun with
that.
it though.
Last night I was not. I thought you had gone outside and you went and sat down, and I walked around the corner. And, oh my God, there you are. Okay. Hey, Lena's back and Ken is here. So Kenna, I don't know if you're still watching or not, but at the beginning of the episode, I'm like so happy because I got my present from you in the mail. I have the best aunt ever. Like, she is incredible. She's one of those people that she really is really good at getting gifts for people. You know, like every time she's ever given me something, like she nails it. Like she is very, very good at giving gifts. And sure enough. Oh, and Kenna, by the way, when you told me the other day that you mailed me and Lennon's birthday present, like I just had this feeling like I bet she got Moldavite. Like I bet she got me a piece of Moldavite. I think she got me Moldavite. And then I was like, messaged Jeremiah today when he was home from work this morning, and I was like, please check the mail. And actually, it didn't. My auto said, what did it say? Like, please confirm the mail
Yes,
or something.
yes.
And I'm like, what? Man, predictive text or autocorrect is so strange. Some of the stuff that I send, and then I really need to start getting in the habit of checking what I'm sending, before I actually send it. But yeah. So let's see what else. What else is going on?
Well, I've got other stories to tell.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Unless you had something else you wanted to say.
No,
to get into.
I just assumed that was since that was the one time you really got startled. That was like your story to tell.
No, but
And
there,
so
there,
I
were-
didn't.
there,
I'm
there's other
sorry.
stuff.
I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine.
I
You're
didn't
fine.
know that you had more.
So, I mean, there
Wait,
was.
who am I saying? Do you not have more? Of course, you have like a load of stories to tell.
Well, there have been twice now at various locations that I was physically scratched. Once in Eldon, Missouri, I think is the name of the town, and the other one at the Project House in Anthony.
Whew.
Um, and both times I'll admit they were my fault because I was doing stupid stuff and I got stupid.
Oh dear.
Neither time was by a demon. I don't believe. Well, okay, so the one in Eldon was kind of up in the air. That one may have been something inhuman.
Man, this episode's like
But
gonna freak people out because it's like
right.
super duper. Like, look at that! Look at that! That's pretty wild.
But yeah, I've been scratched twice. That was eye-opening. Both times I held my composure and I calmly excused myself until I could figure out what was going on, and then I went right back into the investigation. But
Dang.
the first time at the project house, we were just trying to, because it was an oddly quiet night there. Which was really
Atypical.
very atypical.
Okay.
Um, it just we didn't have quiet nights there. That place always produced activity. But there were a of noises and whatnot, but just the kind of direct interaction that we were used to getting, we weren't getting that night. And I I knew better. I shouldn't have done it, but I let some of the aggressive provoking, and it bit me in the ass, almost quite literally.
As it should have.
And
I
yeah,
mean, just to be
yeah.
fair here,
So
Your-
I
your-
got scratched.
your Taurus
and
side
so-
was coming out then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah, got a little cocky and overconfident, but it's the second time I was in Eldon, I was actually not. I was no there was aggressive provoking going on, but I wasn't actually doing any of it. It was just very. Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
went by. Okay, sorry.
It was
I
just,
just.
but that entity was very aggressive to begin with. We're pretty sure that was not a human entity. And
Man.
there's actually a book about that investigation. That's one of Brandon Callahan's books. The House Where Evil Lurks.
I'll read them one
So-
day. Eventually, I'll read those books. I don't know. I think it would like maybe freak me out a little bit. I don't know. I don't
Well,
know. Have you
mean-
read them? Have you actually read them?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
I know you lived it and experienced it, but I just was curious if you actually went back and read his books. Yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me I'd like to read them, but part of me I'm like, I don't know. Pretty scary shit, man. It
Yeah.
really happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably will eventually, maybe.
You should. You should.
Oh, well.
I mean, you're married to me, so you're going to get used to this stuff.
Guys, it's really funny because,
And
When
Lena,
you-
I do agree. I used to support provoking to an extent, but I no longer do, and I haven't in a long time. It's not
wise.
not wise.
Not wise on this
So-
playing field. No, but it's funny because, yeah, David said they're very good books. She said it really happened. LOL. Well, I mean, I wasn't there, but you know, damn. Anyways, it's kind of funny because the way Jeremiah and I met, actually, it had nothing to do with anything paranormal.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? It's like,
Yeah.
and then here you talk about paranormal stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know, and I have like no idea about the extent of paranormal that is all about you, you know, and then opening up Pandora's box here, and I'm all like, ooh, a kid in a candy store, like, oh man, this shit's cool.
Until it comes down to sleeping in a haunted hotel.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I thought you were going to end up sleeping in the car that night.
I was not okay. Lena, they were there that night.
Mm-hmm.
They were there that night.
Yep.
Was Dave and Shannon there that night?
I don't think so.
No, they didn't go to that one. And then Tiffany was there.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't spend the night in the hotel.
She lives in that town.
She lives there. She gets to see it
Mhm.
daily. We're talking about Wilson, by the way, Wilson, Kansas. Yeah, they had a paranormal event, and we went, and Jeremiah spoke, and then we stayed in the hotel, and then when I actually realized the hotel we were staying in was a haunted hotel, it didn't sit very well with me. Not at all. But yeah, Christy Bradford, she, her and her friend Tina were both
Yep.
there, at that, and that was the night that, yeah, Lena said my room was haunted. Well, Lena, let me tell you, Jeremiah went back down to, I think, socialize or something,
Mm-hmm.
and Sophie and I stayed up in the room, and yeah, we took Sophie with us. She's like our third wheel everywhere we go, for the most part. Anyways, I kept hearing things like noises, and I literally just kept telling myself, oh, it's just the pipes. It's just the pipes. It's just the pipes. I literally was like, I don't even want to know right now. Like, ignorance is in my mind right now. And so that's how I got through the night. Yeah. Anyways, guys. Yeah, we'll start to get back on track with the shows Wednesdays. Yeah, we do apologize for changing it up, everybody, but we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
We didn't have a choice.
That last stream that we tried to do with Sophie was kind of a disaster. So
Yeah, we actually remember we put up a poll for your input on what show would be best. Well, then the night that we had our 2-year-old with no older kids during the podcast, that made the decision for us.
Mhm.
That nope. So we have we have to move it to Wednesday nights because we have little people here that can manage the little girl for a little while, so we can do this fun thing.
yeah.
So, anyways, like an aura picture.
Yeah,
on the
I mean
screen.
that's really kind of what it reminds me of.
Mhm.
But so over the next few weeks, we're going until we get our regular full-time internet service going and get that problem solved and out of the way. It's just going to in step like we said earlier in the broadcast. We're not going to bring a guest on, and have it not be a good experience for them. So,
Dude, I'm not even on the screen right now.
oh right,
Lena said I'm having some crazy video difficulties, crazy interference or something.
it's not just you, Lena. That's
Ooh.
that's net
It isn't
issues
just
right now.
me.
So
Me too with the interference. You're on
Yeah,
a mushroom trip or you're just just enjoy. Okay, just enjoy the disturbances.
I am working on. I will try to get that not quite so bad. I don't know that I'll be able to get it fully resolved. We get our internet service issues resolved.
Coming though.
But yes,
it's
it is coming.
coming.
So, but I will try to get this working better. in the meantime, you guys shoot us ideas for what you would like to hear us talk about.
Oh yeah, we can talk about anything, really.
You know,
Almost
we're
anything.
gonna have the next anywhere from 3 to maybe 5 episodes before we get our internet.
Damn, they're that
You
far
know,
behind. Like they're that backed up with
yeah,
installation
like I
service.
said, 4 to 6 weeks.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So
Okay, just bear with us, guys. I'm really
So-
kind of digging this. Like, I don't even know the
but
coloring here.
some ideas of what you'd like to hear us talk about and what
Is
you'd
it-
like to do episodes on. So
Is it possible for people to call in, or we're just straight up just going to be you and I with the chat?
we could potentially open up the phone lines for viewers.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't want to bring a full on guest on until we have the internet issue resolved so that it can be a good experience for them. So
Right. I wish that it was the reality where if some crazy fucker comes to your back door at 6 a.m, you can just have your little wand and you can just shake your little wand and it can do something crazy to the person. I had that happen to me Monday morning. Yeah, some crazy guy, literally a real person, not an apparition. A real person was standing at my back door, staring in my apartment, at like 6:20 in the morning, and yeah, it was super awkward. Called my dad and I'm telling my dad about it, and he's like, "Don't you have a taser?" And I'm like, "I gave that to my mother, and she took it over to the farm." And he's like, "Well, no, that wasn't very smart, Stephanie." And so he's like, "You might want to get that taser back." And I'm thinking, but I mean, it was a wake up call, people. Like, if you literally like, if somebody is at your back door at 6 a.m. and it's totally unexpected, and they can just come on in your house if they wanted to, what would you do? I mean, it really made me stop and think, like, what the fuck what would I have done if this dude would have come on in the back?
yeah.
I don't know for a fact what he was on, but it was very apparent he was on something. And I'm thinking, what if this guy realizes it's 6 a.m,
Right.
or does he think it's 6 p.m. right now? Yeah, pretty scary. Literally, the first thing I thought though was, oh my god, like, I better just play it cool because I don't want to set this person off who is clearly not stable right now.
Right.
You know? And so, anyways, and then he was,
Yeah.
sorry, got way off on a real life tangent instead
Yeah.
of the paranormal tangent. But
It's all real life. It just
Whew, buddy.
physical real life or paranormal real life.
all right,
But yeah,
look at that shit. That looks like, I don't even know. It's kind of cool, actually. I wouldn't want
it'll
it.
be better when we mess with that.
That's true.
Anyway, we
I think we're about out of time.
yeah, we're close enough.
Down to the wire.
We're gonna go ahead and call it quits for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for logging on and watching with us. And like I said, shoot us messages or post on the page. Give us what you'd like to hear us talk about over the next few weeks, because
I really want to get like somebody on here as soon as we have internet again, like a solid internet connection. I really want to get someone on here that can talk about the chakras and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe her husband would come on and talk
Yeah.
about it. You know what I mean? Dave can do it. Lena can do it. David can do it. I mean, any of them could come on and talk about it. You know, but in depth about the chakras.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. And I think we've got kind of a tentative topic picked out for next week. I will post on that probably tomorrow.
Are you gonna like post it in like open discussion, so to speak, about, hey, if anybody wants to talk about this, bring it up, or are you just gonna post the topic and then if somebody wants to mess
I'm
with
just gonna
us-
make a show announcement.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
and then, but yeah, anything that anyone wants to talk about or hear a discussion about, is welcome to bring, send a message or, whatever. So, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and jump off of here. Thank you so much for um, logging on and watching with us.
And enduring this trip that we called Darkness Live the past hour and a half. Oh my
Right.
God. This is wild. Like, can you explain to me why that's happening? Interference thing?
Because we've got factors interfering with the bandwidth on our internet.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, and the the signal that is going from the computer out is getting the video part of it, at least, is getting somewhat scrambled because there's not enough bandwidth to handle the whole signal at times.
So is it possible that it's getting scrambled and some other things are being present in the video stream, or no?
What?
Like, is it possible that the video, that when it's all wonky like that and stuff, is it possible that because it's not a solid connection, there's like weak points? Is it possible that, like EVPs with sound, is it possible that we could see stuff on here or not?
I don't know. We can go back. Anything's possible. We can go back and watch it and see. So.
Okay, cool. See, I'm drug free and I can watch and have a trip watching this show, right?
So
except caffeine, man.
You guys have a great week, and keep an eye out for the announcement for next week's show coming up very soon in the next day or two. And in the meantime, don't forget to like and share, and tell all your friends about Darkness Live and
our new time.
Huh?
Our new time.
Yes, our new day and time.
Change is never like a great thing for, following up something, but in this case, I think that we got solid people that like us.
Yeah,
so. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So we're gonna jump off of here.
Full moon tomorrow or tonight. I don't know what time it's officially a full moon.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So,
okay. You guys be well. Good night.
And don't be afraid of the dark.
Ooh, don't be afraid of the dark.